Okay, so today in this segment, we're going to discuss the new draft lottery that MLB instituted with the brand new CBA. So the top six picks in the draft going forward are going to be chosen through a lottery process. All non-playoff teams, so that's going to be 18 going forward with the new 12-team playoff. All 18 teams are going to have a chance at securing one of those top six picks. So going into some of the complexities of it, if a small market team, which is defined as teams that receive revenue sharing money, if they receive a lottery pick in two straight drafts, they will not be able to pick higher than 10th in the next draft. Whereas a large market team, which is a team that contributes to revenue sharing, if they receive a lottery pick, they won't be able to pick higher than 10th in the next draft. So MLB instituted these rules. This was part of the negotiations with the players. This is an effort to prevent tanking. So, Alessio, what do you think? Do you think this will have an impact on preventing tanking going forward?
Somewhat. You're not going to see those teams try to finish last place anymore. You're not going to see those Baltimore Oriole teams finishing 45, 50 win teams, right? You're not going to see those anymore. You're going to still see some 60 win teams just because that's how baseball works. But you're not going to see those intentional, trade away everyone tanking anymore.
Yeah.
Because, let's look at it. The three teams that finished dead last only get a 16% chance, 16.5% chance.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
It's not. And that's just the first pick, right? Those first few picks, the first six picks, right? You're probably not going to end up with one of those. And what if you finish dead last and don't get a top six pick? That's embarrassing. The best pick you're going to get then is a seventh overall pick for finishing dead last.
That would be rough.
And then you also have the counter where what if you finish 17th or 18th of worst teams and you end up with a first overall pick? That's crazy. What if you just missed a wild card because someone got hurt or something like that?
Yep.
Let's look at the Mets. Let's say, DeGrom's hurt, right? Let's say Lindor's hurt. Scherzer doesn't play or something like that, right? Let's say they finish 18th and then they get the first overall pick. That's insane. It doesn't feel fair because I feel as if the draft lottery extends a bit too far in baseball's case right now.
Yeah, it might.
In basketball, hockey, right? The lottery is for a small number of picks and there's less teams in it. And the percentages kind of favor the top team a bit more. But I guess the advantage here in baseball is that it really does take away tanking.
Yeah,
I don't see any purpose to finishing last unless you intentionally are trading away to get value back for certain players. There's no reason to dump off a Todd Frazier, let's say, when you don't, because the value won't be there. It makes it seem why not keep him, right? Honestly, there's no reason for you not to keep a player like that now.
Yeah, especially with I think it's going to be effective especially when you think about the expanded playoffs. Let's say you're a team, I don't know, let's say you finish 12th in the lottery, right? Going forward for the next year, what's kind of the incentive to tear it all down? Like you said, if you finish bottom of the bottom, you trade all your good players away. You're horrible attendance and everything, and you only have a 16% shot at the number one pick. I think there's going to be more incentive to kind of be in that middle area, like you said, 60, 70 wins type. And I think even if you're already there, I think there's going to be some more incentive to spend a little bit more, or even if not spend, keep some of the veterans you have to try to make a push for that expanded playoffs. And that's not even to mention what if they do 14 teams going forward. That's just going to increase the incentive to hold on to some of those veterans.
If you're a big market team now, tanking doesn't exist.
I agree.
Because if you don't get into the lottery, you can't pick more than higher than 10th, right? I could see the Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers never picking in a lottery. Never getting that first overall pick for years now.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
There's no reason. You're not going to see the Mets or Yankees sell off everyone to finish, dead last to get the first overall pick anymore.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
no
make
incentive
sense
anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's not worth it. You're even a team like Baltimore. I don't see the incentive now to finish dead last.
Yeah, you might even see them. Let's say, it may not apply this year, but maybe going next year, maybe there's a free agent that they think they can add, on a cheap, decent deal that they think can help that they maybe wouldn't have signed in the past because they were just trying to completely bottom out. But now let's say, they know the chances of getting that top pick are lower. They say, let's bring in someone like, I know it didn't happen, but I think a move like, let's say signing Nelson Cruz might have been interesting because, he would have been, a fan favorite. I mean, he already played there, but just putting that aside, hitting a bunch of home runs and kind of just bringing some entertainment factor. They would have never done that because he would have helped them, win too much. But now it doesn't really matter.
It almost is a positive to be at least a 70-win team because now you look competitive, and even when you're kind of losing, you'll get fans in the stands. You won't get like those 45, 50-win teams where it's like no one's going to games.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Orioles, basically.
And you know what? That might actually help them in the long term because they're going to have more money coming in. It probably won't make a major difference. Market matters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like that. But, and the actual winningness of the team matters. Like if you have a dominant 90-win team, you're bringing fans in.
Yeah, but of course.
Unless you're Tampa somehow.
The Rays.
Tampa's the one exception to every rule. Even the shift, they're gonna find a way.
Yeah, they will.
They're gonna they're gonna move their pitcher over.
Yeah, switch the pitcher out.
Yeah, they're gonna have the pitcher like throw a pitch and then run like 20 feet back.
Yeah.
Or move the catcher.
The players are getting what they wanted. The Players Association. It's not gonna be like a full on move to like stop to eliminate tanking, but I think it's gonna go a long way. At least it's gonna create a middle class, which is really what they wanted. Because the top of the top, they're always gonna get paid, right? But what about those veterans that are like 32, 33 that kind of don't really have a great market?
Yeah, those
some of these teams.
Those guys are gonna start getting those 3-year deals now. Instead of those 1-year prove it deals. And honestly, there are a lot of guys that still have value that just aren't getting paid like anything close to what they would actually get if they were in demand. That's the issue because a lot of those lower teams don't even bother looking at look at Nelson Cruz. I think he could have gotten a 2-year deal from if more teams were
guaranteed to
a guaranteed 2-year deal if more teams were interested because of anti-tanking. If you thought there was no incentive in tanking, there's no reason not to sign these types of guys to 1 or 2-year deals on the cheap end.
I think you'll see what you're saying. I think you're going to see that. Let's say 2 years from now, when people realize, the teams realize, okay, this tanking, the lottery, it really does, it's effective. I think the markets are going to go up for these kind of middle tier players.
Like you don't have to go all in on competing all the time, but you have to try. You have to make moves to keep it close, right? Even if it isn't a long-term move, signing a Todd Frazier to a 1-year deal to play third base is a fill-in instead of bringing up some prospect that isn't ready or filling it in with some 26-year-old you never heard of who isn't ready to play baseball.
Some like AA guy or some AAA, career guy. Yeah, for sure.
And also, I mean, the draft combine is going to bring in some money, that between viewership and ads and stuff like that, ad revenue, that's worth it.
Yeah, I think they want to just make the draft more interesting in general because, a lot of it is kind of inherent to the way baseball works because, you draft a guy in the first round, you might not see him for 4 years or whatever in the major leagues, whereas like in basketball or the NFL, it's like instant. But I think it'll still be, a lot more interesting if you can just build the spectacle of it, which is what they're trying to do with the combine and everything.
I wonder if they should do like NFL style interviews pre-draft. Imagine having some high school kid who's like a shortstop on like national television because he's gonna be the first overall pick, and instead of giving that little like draft interview that they give, right? Those little like 10-minute interviews and then they're done. That's the last time you see him for like 5 years.
Yeah.
You might actually get like crazy coverage, and some of these guys might get paid. You might see some real ad revenue coming in their way. You might see them get some real sponsorships before they're even.
Yeah.
Because honestly, look at football quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Before they even hit the pros, they basically already have like sponsorships. They have all these guys looking towards them.
Especially now with the new rules.
Yeah.
In college, So yeah, I could definitely see that.
I wonder if this makes college baseball more interesting
That could have like a trickle down effect. See that?
because I can't see like high school ever being looked at because it's high school.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like
It's never
no
on
one's
TV
gonna-
anyway.
yeah. But college baseball, I mean, that might make like if you're looking at like a Vanderbilt type team,
Mhm.
that might have some value. Like they were already getting watched a little bit, but college baseball, if they can make the draft more interesting, if they can make the combine play a major role and be actually televised and guys actually go and watch it. You know what else? Have them put on a home run derby on the same day
Yeah,
as
right.
the, why not?
Pretty
Like
cool.
have them put on a home run derby on the same day as the All-Star game. Like that would be so cool. And then you could just sit there and watch it and you'll see these prospects. You'll see some next Pete Alonso, right? They'll start calling guys that when they're like 18 in college. And that will be amazing.
Yep.
Now you're going to get some, I mean, college baseball will get watched more. You'll be hearing about this prospect. You'll see him. Oh, he registered for the combine, right? Oh, he goes to like a college right down here, right? Oh, he's on TV. Let me just turn on the game, see
Yep.
what's up. Oh, my,
It grows the game.
my team's picking there, right? My team
Yep.
has that pick. Let me turn on that game. Oh, wow. College baseball is actually pretty cool. Let me watch a few more games,
Hmm.
right? Maybe you see a player. You're like, wow, this is kind of interesting. Let me just watch him again next week. Like that's all it takes. I mean, look at the KBO and Japan leagues.
Yeah.
They're definitely getting watched more since when baseball was gone and that's all we had to watch was those leagues. That meant something. We still watched a few of those games, right? We realized that's still baseball. Like it's AAA level baseball. Even college
Just
baseball
awareness.
here. Even college baseball, like a lot of those guys are pro level in the higher level in the SEC especially. You're playing in that Southern Conference, you're elite. Like most of them are getting drafted. Like that's crazy. But I don't see why it can't have a trickle down effect. It's going to help the sport as a whole too. If they do it right, especially if they bring in an international draft.
Yeah, that would just bring more attention, most likely.
The logistics of the international draft though are a bit iffy.
Yeah.
They're going to need like good confirmation on a lot of things. And it's not going to be like this signing bonus pool. That's going to be gone.
Yeah, it'll probably be similar to what they already have for the the amateur draft.
Yeah, I wonder if the posting system in Japan is still going to hold up if they bring in that draft.
Probably, I think because they're professionals. But yeah.
It's going to be a weird situation. It might be similar to when hockey used to bring guys over from the KHL. It's the same concept, I guess, but overall, this is interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, you question what could happen if MLB does it right. That goes for a lot of things in sports, but if MLB does it right, if Manfred can somehow figure it out, that's iffy. But if he can figure it out, it could be amazing. It could work out. I mean, it's pro baseball. Let's hope the combine works out. If the draft becomes popular, then we have a real league. We have a league that feels like the NBA, feels like the NHL.
Exactly. Yep. That'll help it compete going forward.
All right. So that's it. That's it for this segment. See you guys on the next one.